Hello and welcome back to Alex Goes Sailing. This episode will be another DIY episode and I'm going to be installing some electrical bits and bobs. A 1200 watt inverter and a brand new lithium battery. Now before I got started, I had to jet wash Meraki because she was a little dirty from winter. Then I had to make a quick repair as I managed to break the cups on the wind vane. Luckily I could get a replacement from Vision Marine, which helped me find the right part. Definitely recommend them if you're getting anything over winter. It was easy to fit and hopefully I don't break it again. Right, jumping into the battery install. This is the old battery, my old lead, 105 amp hour, and this is the new lithium. The battery boxes themselves are about the same size. I would say this one might be a tiny bit bigger. Now I have two of these installed in Meraki, one on each side, and because these are 105 amp hour lead, you can only use half of the power of a lead acid battery, otherwise you start to destroy it and you never want to drain it below 50% because yeah, that's the end of it. So a pair of these batteries produce 1200 watts, and just this battery alone produces 3,600 watts, so that's 3 times basically, and the cost of these are about £200 for the pair, and this one was 1,150. So if you're looking at it, this is a tiny bit more expensive when you're pricing up for the amount of power you get, but the fact of the matter is this will last a darn sight longer than that, because these probably last, I don't know, 3 to 5 years at most, being just lead, and this can last over 10 years and maybe even 20 if you're lucky. But yeah, longevity on this is definitely going to be worth it in the long run. In the short term you could buy these, but they're not going to last that long. And the other benefits you get with lithium are the more power, you can output more amps, which is good. I've also got a Bluetooth module in this, so I can monitor everything. I can set safeties, I can disconnect the charge if I want to. There's loads of things in the app which I'll show you. And the other benefit is you can mount this upside down or which ways round, which I'm going to have to fit it in my little cubby box, so it's to be mounted on its side. And the other key difference is weight. This weighs 25 kilograms, and just this battery alone is 24 kilograms. And remember, I have two of these batteries, so that's 48 kilograms, and I'm getting a third of the power that this thing can kick out. So that's a big difference, especially on a small boat like this. So effectively, I have half to the weight of the batteries I'm keeping on board, and yeah, got 3 times as much power. So I want to get this thing installed. I will have to convert the wires from this connector to lugs, and that's easy enough, and then I can just bolt them on with the bolts on top of here, and I'm going to have to adjust my securing of the battery inside of the cubby to make it sit nicely and not slide around and move around. So yeah, let's get cracking. Right, we're inside Meraki now, and down here you can see this is where the old battery was. You can see my little mounts that I made to keep it level and flat, and with the little strap that you can strap the battery to the side and stop it from moving about. And you can see the old wires, I've already taken the connectors off, but basically where these stick out a little bit, I'm going to have to add a little bit of space there just so it doesn't rub up against the battery too much, and I'll probably move this strap a little further down, but apart from that it'll be a straight drop in. This will be laying on its side. I'm going to keep these terminals towards the back end, and here are my lugs. I'm probably going to be using this one because I think that's the right size. Use a bit of heat shrink and get that all connected up. Probably do it before I put the battery in because there's a bit more room. And then the other thing to consider is hooking up the inverter. And over here is the inverter. This is 1200 watt inverter with 2 plugs on the front, a USB on-off switch, and it also has a little display that tells you how many watts you're using, which is really handy. And it also came with this wiring kit over here, so it's got an isolator, a 150 amp fuse, and it's all nicely made up with all the heat shrink onto the edges and all the lugs ready to go. So all I've got to do is run the wires basically. I got this size because when I was comparing it to like a Victron unit, you can get those down to, I think, what, 350 watts is the smallest they do, and that's 150 pounds. This was 175 pounds, and then the wiring kit was an extra 25 to 30 pounds, I think. So we've got to figure out a place to put this, but we have to take into account that I've got to run these thick gauge down in there. So if I might have to make that hole a little bit bigger, but we'll see. Right, I've just shortened up this red wire here, as you can see. And I've crimped on this connector, so that's 8mm hole to match up with what's on the battery. And then I'm just going to slide this heat shrink over, just to, I don't know, about there maybe. And then I've got to hold this nicely, and this is a handy dandy little jet lighter thing. So a little pot and heat shrink it on. Right, I have the battery situated in there. As you can see, it's resting. I'm just going to make a blocking just to go between this gap here, just to make sure it's nice and firm there. And then this strap just needs to be a touch lower, but it fits in there nice on its side, and you can do that with lithium quite safely. Right, it's the next day and I'm back in the boat. My battery is still there, and I've actually got the app open here, and this is basically telling me that there's 96% charge, and it gives you the amps and the current voltage, and then all the different cells, and then you got temperature, and then the state of the balance and things like that, and any faults that pop up say it gets to a lower temperature. So if it goes below 5 degrees, then it basically won't allow it to charge, and then it can discharge down to -40. So it's a pretty cool bit of tech. And then you can go into the app and change all the battery settings if you so wish. All across here, all different temperature settings you can do, and then you can actually tell it not to charge and not to discharge, etc. And a bunch of other things. So this is the benefits you get with having a lithium battery with Bluetooth. So yeah, I'm excited for it, and I think I've finally decided where this inverter is going. Like finally, because I've got set length of cable, and I've got all these fuses and possibly that to install. I think the best place for it is that cupboard, like I mentioned the other day. So yeah, I'm going to mount it on the side in there. We're going to get rid of that battery because we don't need it, because we've got that one. And then for the wire run, if we go underneath here, for the wire run, we're going to go straight across here with a bunch of P-clips. So should be straightforward. So I'm going to get that battery out quick, and then I can show you the install of this thing. Right, we've got all of that fitted now. So the terminal's hooked up to the battery, as you just saw. So they're nice and snug that's on there. I'm going to probably 3D print some covers for these, just to be extra safe. Still going to do my spacer and a strap. And in here we've got the isolation switch. I've just put a couple of screws in there because I'll be changing the hardware, because that's in the post. We fitted our fuse over here, so that's pretty cool. And behind it you can see the cables. One's a little bent, but these are high flex cables, so they can do that. And then for the terminals, I'm actually going to 3D print new covers to match the angles that the cables have to do, so that I can have those covered up. But apart from that, we are all fitted up. Now the only thing left to do is turn it on, and I've got my battery app open, which is linked to the battery, so I can see what it's doing. And as you can see, we've got full charge in there, and on the inverter, well, first off we got to turn on the our switch. Bang! Nothing bad's happening. Nothing crazy's happening up here. Time to hit the on button. We have lights and numbers. so it's not pulling any power. I'm gonna have to find something that can plug into it to actually test it. Right, I've gone in and found the Hoover. This is about 700 watts. And well, I'm gonna hoover up all of this mud inside the boat, which I managed to get in here somehow. Working. What are we pulling? It's about 550 watts there. Right, just been hoovering for what, 5 minutes maybe, and yeah, 98% state of charge. Probably not the most accurate towards the top end, but yeah, pretty good. We've also got the new solar panels outside, which you'll see in the next episode, so look forward to that. But I'm very happy having a lithium battery and a nice inverter for Meraki. She's probably the most kitted out small boat in the world by now, so yeah, if you like this episode, leave a comment down below, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks for watching.